Welcome back. I'm your host, Susanna May O'Hagan. Let's take a journey into something new. Or let's take a journey. Today, we will be talking about some of the cases that I find. Well, I feel wrong saying this, but fascinating, interesting, upsetting, mixture, mad. It's a mixture of emotions, y'all. One of them is Amber Alert. That's right, the Amber Alert. The thing that we all use in 2025 still. It has helped a lot of kids. Okay, so Amber's story. Amber Hagerman was 9 years old when she was abducted while riding her bicycle, promoting her mother to seek out a system that alerts the nation of abducted children. This became today's Amber's Alert system. Amber's Story is a 2006 television movie which aired on Lifetime TV network on September 4th, 2006. The film tells the true story of 9-year-old Amber Hagerman, who was abducted while riding her bike in 1996, and her mother, Donna, seeks out a system that alerts the nation of children who are abducted, which is called an Amber Alert, that comes in handy when a young girl named Nicole is abducted by her neighbor. Some of the people in the movie were Donna Whitson, Shannon Thompson, Glenn Park, Amber Hagerman, Nicole Taylor Thomas, Ricky Hagerman, Jamie Woodston, Glenn Woodston, George Reedon, Officer Perry, Detective Griffin. Amber's Story, 2006. Amber's Story is a 2006 Lifetime television biopic about Amber Hagerman, who was 9 years old when she was abducted while riding her bicycle, promoting her mother to seek out a system that alerts the nation of abducted children. We know that could be called, now that we know that to be called the Amber Alert today. The movie was directed by Waxman. You would think there'd be a little more about the movie. So, the kidnapping of two girls leading to implement of the Amber Alert system for tracking and missing children. Here are some people's reviews, and then we'll get into the case itself. It's 1 hour and 40 minutes. It's a drama. It was streamed in January 28th, 2020. Nearly unwatchable. Due Elizabeth over the top, whining, acting, and bad accent. It was good. The guy who played Glenn is beyond creepy. I actually agree with that one. The Glenn dude was so creepy. He gave me the creeps in 5 seconds of meeting him. It really didn't do anything for me. Bad acting, true story. Based on a true story about a girl called Amber who was kidnapped and murdered. Her pretension to the president to introduce an Amber Alert system across the country so that the public can help look for a missing children. So sad. The man who played Glenn was super creepy. I really liked this movie. It was suspense and it had a lot of moments when you cry for joy. It was a lot of parts you don't see coming, and the ending is the best. I would recommend this any time, anywhere. It was sad. The little girl had to die. They should have had the Amber Alert many years ago. Thousands upon thousands of children have died. The acting in this movie is Hallmark worthy, yet the story is touching and educational for young ones. The story is so sad. Sad story based on the abduction and murder of a little girl, Amber Hagerman. It is the story behind the Amber Alert system. Lifetime originated movie Amber's Story is a movie about how and why the Amber Alert system was founded. It was captivating and moving, worth a watch. I adore true stories. They're definitely a favorite of mine, but for me, this film fell flat. There was a lack of real information given for anyone unfamiliar with the Amber Alert system in America. The acting was shocking from the start. This felt like a made for TV film. So I could forgive a lot of the shoddy camera work, direction, and acting. And I never lost interest in the film, but had it not been a true story, I would have stopped watching it. It was scary to see what some people are capable of and what some families have to go through. But the story could have been done a lot better. The story of the Amber Alert system for tracking missing children and its namesakes. The true story of the Amber Alert system for tracking missing children and its namesakes, Amber Hagerman, a 9-year-old girl who was abducted and murdered in Arnetino, Texas in 1996. Okay, so I say this is one of those cases that I go back to because it's still unsolved. It's 2025. This happened in 1996. Can we try and, I don't know, solve this poor little girl's, unsolved death, please? We know she's dead, but and we know what happened slightly, but we don't know who did it. I would love to get it solved. That's one of the things I would love to happen. There are other cases I would love to have that happen too, and I'll give you a list of them. It's kind of the point of this. The victim who inspired the Amber Alert system, 9-year-old Amber Hagerman, was murdered after being abducted while riding her bike in Texas on January 13, 1996. On January 13, 1996, 9-year-old Amber Hagerman took the pink bike. 1994. So, I would have been 2 or 3. Pink bike she's just received for Christmas and went for a ride near her grandmother's house in Texas. But when she got to the lot of an abandoned Winn-Dixie grocery store. Okay, so I wasn't sure what grocery store. A man in a black truck suddenly grabbed her. Yes, someone saw him and that was all they could see. 4 days later, Amber Hagerman's was found. I'm not repeating what that says. If you can see it, you can read it. Amber Hagerman's killer was never found. The impact of her disappearance has resonated for decades as inspiration behind the Amber Alert system, which has since saved hundreds of children from a similar fate. Yes, I'm going to say thank you so much, Amber, your mother, and everyone who got the system in place, because you have helped so many children. And in 2025, I believe it's in every state, because I know in the movie they were talking about how it wasn't in every state yet. And we use it. And when I see it on my thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I see this, I'll make sure to tell someone. It's out there, people know. I always want to go out and search for it, and then I'm like, you don't want to be in the way. But you definitely feel for them, and you give your thoughts and prayers or whatever you believe in, and you go help that child be found and go home. Though Amber Hagerman has never been found, the impact of her... Oh, yeah. And now, detectives believe that they finally be able to catch man who murdered Amber Hagerman. Really? Are we really thinking that? Because that would be amazing. The kidnap of Amber Hagerman. Born on November 25th, 1986, Amber Renee, maybe? I'm not sure how to say her middle name. Had just 9 short years on Earth. On January 13th, 1966, she and 5-year-old brother Ricky went for a bike ride that turned out to be the Amber's last. Here's a missing person. Missing stranger abduction. Name Amber Hagerman. Age 9. Sex female. Height 4'7". Weight 72 to 74 pounds. Hair color reddish brown. Eyes blue. She has the same eye colors as I do, which is kind of creepy. Sorry, my glasses were filthy. Amber was last seen Saturday, January 13th at 3:15 p.m. being forced into a black short red pickup truck. Black short Ben pickup truck in the old Winn-Dixie parking lot on Auburn Street in Texas. A witness said a white or Hispanic man kidnapped her. According to WFT9, the siblings left their grandmother's house in Texas around 3 p.m. She's instructed them to stay close, and Amber and Ricky never ventured more than 2 to 10th of a mile from home. But when Amber pedaled into the parking lot of a Winn-Dixie grocery store, Ricky decided to turn home and didn't see what happened to his sister. But Jamie Kell did. The 78-year-old watched as the little girl rode her bicycle around the parking lot. He watched as the black pickup pulled up alongside her, and as a dark-haired man in his 20s or 30s, who Kevlin thought was white or Hispanic, got out. The kidnapper pulled up, jumped out, and grabbed her. Kay, a former sheriff department, told CBS Dallas Fort Worth when she screamed, "I figured the police ought to know about it, so I called them." In the aftermath, dozens of police officers and federal agents descended on Argentina to look for the missing girl. According to the New York Times, they pushed their search for Amber only to take quick naps. But tragically, the 9-year-old was found dead 4 days later in a nearby creek. Amber was totally, except for a sock on her left foot. Police detective Randy, who went to the scene, told a Clubberin Retro Club luncheon in 2020, "We rolled her over and I caught her head in my hand. Several to her throat, knife or screwdriver had been used to rip her throat out." How the case of Amber Hagerman inspired the Amber Alert. As Amber's family mourned their loss, however, a Texan mother named Dana Simone had an idea. She called a local radio station and wondered aloud about creating a national alert system for missing children. "I said I can't get over this child. There has to be something we can do," she told People in 2022. If America already received alerts for weather and critical defenses events, Simone thought, why wouldn't we do it for this? With that, the idea of the Amber Alert system was born. Child abducted blue Honda Civic CALIC number plate. Donna Simone's idea, which she called Amber's Plan, stuck. Broadcasters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area patterned the law enforcement to alert people about abducted children. Before long, the system was renamed Amber Alert. Legacy of Amber Alerts to this day. According to the Amber Alert website, the national system has served over 1,000 children since it launched in 1996. Thank you for this alert system. Amber Alert also served as a deterrent to those who pry upon our children. The site added, Amber Alert cases have shown that some predators release the abducted child after hearing the Amber Alert. Here's how Amber Alerts work. Once law enforcement determines if a case meets certain criteria, authorities notify broadcasters and state transported agencies. Alerts interrupt programming and appear on statewide transportation signs, show up on digital billboards, and even arrive at text. As of 2015, Amber Alert also started showing up on Facebook. Donna Williams, Amber Hagerman's mother, said that the alert system, named in memory of her daughter, is bittersweet. In an interview in 2006, 20 years after Amber's murder, she said, "There's another part of me that wonders what would have happened if we have had the alert when Amber went missing. Could it have helped bring her back?" Detectives may not have been able to bring Amber Hagerman back to her family, but they are still determined to find justice for the murdered 9-year-old. Police Grant told People that Amber's case is very much still active. Yes, we continue to have leads, he said. A lot of people will refer to Amber's case as what commonly referred to as a cold case, but for the police department, it has been listed as a cold case because we've never gone 180 days without having some lead come in. Indeed, police are convinced that someone knows something about Amber Hagerman's kidnapping that they haven't yet shared, and they're instant that it's too late. They're instant it's not too late. Our hope is that someone in the community saw something. Maybe they didn't come forward 25 years out of fear or not wanting to get involved. The police chief, Kevin, I'm sorry, anytime I hear Kevin, it's just funny to me. I have a cat named Kevin. Said, according to WFTV9, whatever reason we need folks to search their minds and bring forward anything that they may be value to our investigation. Investigators also disclosed in 2021 that they have DNA evidence that might belong to Amber's killer. Hopefully, with evidence like that or a new tip, police can finally solve Amber Hagerman's kidnapping and bring justice to a 9-year-old whose death served hundreds of other children. After learning about Amber Hagerman and the history of the Amber Alert system, read the story of Sally, who was kidnapped, inspired the novel. Or the Boy in the Box case. I've talked about that case. That's one of my other cases. So, Amber's really does hit home. Like, it's so sad. I hope we someday can find what happened, like who did it, and if they're still around, they pay for what they did. I hope we all learn something from this. I hope we all say thank you to Amber and her family and loved ones, because if it wasn't for her, I don't know if we would have been able to save some of those kids. I'm gonna say, I hope everyone has a great and wonderful day. Bye for now. Ooh, this case is gonna get me all teared up.